Thanks for staying with us. So early childhood education lays the foundation for a child's future success, shaping their cognitive, social, and emotional development. It is a critical period of learning that goes beyond mere childcare. High-quality early education programs foster curiosity, creativity, and critical thinking, preparing children for lifelong learning. Also, early childhood education is not just babysitting, it's vital investment in a child's future. Joining us on the show to give us better understanding of this, especially because you have the early childhood conference coming up very soon, is a childcare business expert and columnist, a speaker who assists school owners and practitioners to develop clarity of mind and enhance their leadership skills and embrace bigger vision. Welcome with us, Caroline Popoola in the building.
Thank you so much for having me. I know, right?
First time, so you're like in front of the house.
I'll be having a seat.
Yes, good to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Before we go into the conference, give us an update on what you've been doing, especially when it comes to early childhood care, because this is something that we just do haphazardly around here, and there's no structure around it. If you can just give us an insight to what you've done so far and how we can begin to pay more attention to early childhood care. Thank
you so much, and that's a really good question, and that's a good question to start with. I say that to say it's not just here in Nigeria, it's across, it's a global issue, and I say that because until you know the difference in when you're talking about actual learning and being within early years and talking about babysitting, when you know the difference, that's when you then start to think and do differently. And I think the last time I came in, we talked about maybe not so much babysitting, but where we have a different culture in Nigeria or in Africa where we have nannies and stuff. And yes, it works for the culture and it's not wrong, but what's different or what you can do differently, it's taking that learning and bringing it home to your nannies and saying, this is how I would want my child to be brought up. Because if you can't afford to take them to a early learning center, you can still have that at home and bring education home. And in the conference we have, which is tomorrow, and it's so interesting, the topic is about building confidence in teachers and using simple resources, like the simple thing, like your simple mug or your table to make sound, and you're making different sounds. So if I do this, that's a different sound. If I do this, that's a different sound. Children will learn from that. And those are things your nannies at home can do with the children that would enhance their learning, that would their cognitive skills.
But this thing does it now. What have I learned now? Like, I mean, like...
So, listening skills.
Okay.
That's listening. So in adulthood, you learn to, you're listening to me. It's something you may not associate to early years, but it's something you learn from that age, that when you listen, you pay attention. So if I knock that or I knock the mug, that's a different sound. You're able to differentiate or separate. So, and that's all learning. But we always think, oh, it's only when you have this book and when you have this maths or when you have English, or you can learn through anything. And that's what it's about. So you don't necessarily have to go to an early learning center, but bring it home and make it as simple as possible for your nannies, which fits the culture we have in Nigeria.
Okay, so I know that in the UK or even in Canada, that kids don't start school quite early. So they spend a lot of time at home with their parents or homeschool till a certain age, right? I think the UK is like 3 years or something.
Yeah, so they don't start they don't start mainstream school, but they still go to an early learning center.
Okay.
And I guess because the system we have encourages it. So again, I don't want to make it a government thing, but our government substitutes it. So we don't, as a parent, you don't pay the full whack or the full amount. The government will pay part of it. So that encourages you. The bottom line is they encourage you to go back to work as early as you can. That's all it is.
So basically, so I just want to know, so what informed your decision? Because I can see that you're overseeing over 14 childcare settings in the UK, and there's still more in the pipeline. So what really triggered this passion in you?
So if I say this, it's almost like I can't say it on air, but originally, I'll be honest, it's money. Because I used to work in an insurance industry and in the banking industry in the city, you know, at the time, and I felt that, and I was made redundant, and I felt, what could I do that could tell people what to do and not do anything, that could just sit out? But obviously, that's a lie. I worked even hard, twice as hard or 3 times as hard. Hence the reason I feel, I'll say the Holy Spirit dropped it on me to say, all right, do this. And over the years, I've done it for 20 years. It'll be 21 years in September. I've never looked back. I couldn't ask for a better life. I couldn't ask for better job to do that I feel like I'm changing lives and impacting. The best part is when you see a child you've looked after 3 months and they're 21 years and they come to you and you're thinking, no way. No way, it can't be you. And you could imagine the way you've treated that child at that time. At 21, they look at you and they can tell you where to get off. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, so but because you've been so good, I had someone sent an email to contacted me on Instagram, and he said, thank you for walking me home. You and your team for walking me home when mommy had it difficult. And you stand outside for mommy to come. I couldn't believe it. He's now a builder. He's 24 years old. And we walked him down when he was in year 5. Mommy was working hard. And we would say, because we can't leave him at home, mommy would meet us halfway and they'll go in together. And he said, thank you to myself and my team a few weeks ago. And that's why it's worth it.
Remembered.
So how has it been for you getting parents to subscribe, especially African parents or Nigerian parents?
Oh, you mean in terms of my business?
Yes.
It's so easy because once you have confidence in what you're delivering, you know, it's about value. What am I giving to your child? What am I adding to your life as a family? What difference am I making to you? That's why you would subscribe. I don't have to beg. Because it's like your show. You have, what value are you giving? You don't have to beg people to watch. They just know, if I come here, I'm going to learn about this, and that's what it is. So it's the value you give, that's what brings the money in. So it's not about you seeking it, it's about you being confident in what you're offering and doing what you know would make a difference and impact generations to come. I mean, that one child.
Before I come to Moyo, as a conference, go ahead. Go ahead, Moyo.
No, go ahead then.
I wanted to ask about the conference because I know that was pretty important for us to know, because a lot of parents have heard you. They know that you're doing quite a bit for early childhood. So what exactly would they get from the conference?
So the conference really is for teachers, but parents are welcome. It's for teachers, and it's just to really help them to build their confidence, understand the value, like you've just asked me about why would you subscribe? The value we're adding to these teachers so they can deliver something different when they get to the classroom, when they have your children. They're not just looking at your child as just another child. They're looking at your child as an individual. That how can I meet this child's needs? How can I make a difference to this particular child? And that's what it's about. So building their confidence, adding value, and understanding simple resources, like we just said. So because what I get is, oh, in Nigeria, there's no money, and you know, all of that stuff. It's like, oh, we can't afford these things. Yeah, it's okay for you to say that in the UK because you, but I'm saying simple resources, like simple stuff you pick on the street. As long as it's clean and you do the risk assessment around it, you can use it to build the child's knowledge, information, even their conversation. That's how they learn.
Okay, so they said by age 5, only 25% of a child's brain has developed. And we know that children, toddlers, let me use that phrase, are still building their mindset, they're still building their focus, they're still trying to understand and process a lot of things that we see. But we also understand that there are some children that they are actually, would I say special need, or would I say that they are more stubborn or more stressful? Is it a term that I can use like that?
I will allow you.
Okay. or a bit more difficult to really understand. Like I know of a child that throws tantrum. Even his 1-year-old brother does not do that. Any small thing, he falls. You understand? So how are we supposed to manage them? Because I don't think in Africa, I might be wrong, we have that patience that we are supposed to have to
and that's, do you know what? That's a really good question, Moya. And because life is not equal, fingers are not equal. Yes, we do have children that are challenging, even for us. And when they come into my setting, could be challenging. But that's why you're in childcare. So not everyone's built for children. Not everyone's built for children. If you don't have the patience, even for those that are built for it, there are times when I say to my team, okay, I think take a break. I think you're done. You've had enough. Because that child may come in and that day they just decide they're going to just be the other way around and like literally just not have it. And I understand that. But it's knowing that child first. And that's why early learning centers are really key. Because your nannies at home will just think they're just being stubborn. Yeah. But they're not being stubborn. They might have a condition that needs to be looked at. And I like the fact that even as Nigerians might come in, we've been aware. We're now aware of the fact that we do have children with ADHD or some element of ADHD that need to be looked at and studied differently and see how we can meet their needs. So it's having to know that individual child on a one-to-one and then having to answer and say, okay, how can we manage that child's behavior? But for everyone, there is a way. And also, it's that thing, they're actually much more intelligent than just our normal children. You'll be so surprised.
We have to wrap up with you, unfortunately. Time is fast spent, but we're hoping that teachers are listening today and are able to join the conference tomorrow. Hopefully they can learn. So I guess they can get more information from your website.
Do you know what, Mariah? We've actually closed registration. We have over 4,300 registrations.
Oh, congratulations.
So it's just,
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good.
So it's a thing that it sounds like everyone's listening and everyone's watching. From the first year of having 350 to 4 years of having 4,000 registrations, it's just incredible. And we don't even have enough space.
Oh, wow.
So for me, that means we're doing something different.
Are you going to stream online?
Unfortunately,
we are streaming online.
So that we have to cut off the new program. But thank you so much, Caroline. It's such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having
That's
me.
all we can take on today's show. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Monday. Well, we'll see the Pigeon Ladies on tomorrow. Have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.
Bye.